Well, good morning and welcome everybody. Welcome to our Become New live series rewind with John and Nancy Ortberg. Hey, John. Hey, Nancy. How you two doing?
Good morning. Good. I just got a tooth pulled 2 days ago, so if it looks like I have a goose egg on the side of my mouth, I do. But good. Very good.
And I didn't even have a tooth pulled. It's just the way my face looks.
Jeez.
Well, you guys look fabulous. It's great to see you. Great to be with you. And as you can see, we've already got people joining, tuning in. And so we may start things off just by interacting with the chat a little bit today. So we've got people joining from all over. Some of you are already doing this, but please feel free if you're watching to let us know in the chat where you're joining from. That's always so enjoyable for us to just see the scope and the breadth of this community, which really spans across the whole globe. So
it's always surprising to me how moving it is to see names and think about stories and where people are. I loved, Tim, you're showing some of the quotes from different people that have written in. And as you know, if you've been around Become New very long, we'll talk about it as the fellowship of the withered hand, from the story where Jesus talks to the man in the synagogue who's got a withered hand, and the very thing he doesn't want to do to expose his shame and inadequacy becomes the occasion for healing. And that's been our experience so deeply. And so it's like God's just brought a community together of people where we're separated by distance, but united, by that reality. So,
yeah.
No, and just, watching Patty, who's on this morning, but is walking her husband through hospice, and Deb Poling, who just had a knee replacement, and then the absurd of Chuck down in Georgia saying Elvis says hi. And
Chuck is my friend who fell off scaffolding and fractured his pelvis.
Yeah.
So I have renamed his pelvis Elvis, and I will call him up most days and just say, "How's Elvis doing today?" So, yeah.
Oh man. Yeah. So it's inspiring and deeply moving to be connected to a community like this, which I've actually never been connected to a community like this myself.
Yep.
But I think another hallmark just trait of this community is that we're not brought together by any great strength or our ability to achieve things, but really by our weakness. And you've coined that from the story of where Jesus heals the man with the withered hand. And so this really is the fellowship of the withered hand, as you call it, which we all have. And so,
well, and it connects so deeply to the Sermon on the Mount, because that's exactly where it all begins. Blessed those who mourn, blessed are those who are poor in spirit. Those are, as Dallas Willard points out, people have access to the good life, even though this world says they don't, because the kingdom is available to us right there in our weakness.
Yeah. It's beautiful. Well, let's talk about this series. So we're wrapping up Insurmountable today. It's been a 3-part series, 75 episodes. Nancy, is John finally done? Have we plumbed the depths of his teaching? Does he have any more words left to say?
I think with 2 more weeks off, he will come back refreshed and ready to go again. Honestly, he loves the combination of getting to read and synthesize and then communicate. So no, I think there's more there.
I do. And Nancy is an extrovert who has never run out of words. We've been married for over 40 years. I have yet to come home on a single day and have Nancy say, "I'm out of words today." So she knows
it's not a good quality necessarily.
She knows how inexhaustible they are. I like it.
He's ready to go again.
Yeah, Nancy, we should get you to do a daily series for 75 episodes and see what ends up out,
I really think that's not what we should do, but thanks for suggesting.
Oh man, I would get my popcorn and tune in for that.
Oh, no.
So, question about this series, Nancy. I mean, I've got a general question. Do you watch all of John's episodes? I mean,
I often am behind, so I will often have to scurry and catch up. But almost always, once I get ready in the morning, I take my little phone into the bathroom and do my makeup and wash my face and brush my teeth to become new. Yeah.
I don't think you're.
There's nothing worse than seeing or hearing yourself. So if I walk around and I hear my voice come over,
people ask me to turn it off.
Totally.
But you're most often not in there when I'm doing it.
I'm not.
Yeah. Hey, if you are watching, I mean, I'd be curious just to know when and where you watch Become New. Do you watch it in the morning, watch it in the afternoon, on a walk? Do you listen to the podcast? Just curious. I know for me, I mean, I watch it several times before it goes out, and then and then first thing in the morning for me, and then I'll even listen to it again. So I'm like your biggest fanboy. So sorry, you have to live with me. Just so probably.
I'm very grateful how God has brought us together.
Yeah, me too. So as people are putting that in the chat, Nancy, curious about the Sermon on the Mount and your, relationship with it, thoughts with the teaching. I'd be curious if there are any particular passages in it that you just love. You're like, man, I wish everybody would read this. And you can't say the whole thing. That's cheating. And then maybe if there's one.
You can't ask a question and tell me how to answer it.
Oh, yes, I can.
Okay, you're right. But I don't have to follow it.
No, you don't. You don't. You've got your own kingdom. You can respond how you want.
This is like recording with 2 7-year-olds. You want to make me? Yeah.
Because honestly, John and I were even just talking this morning. For me, it is the big picture. Like, why did Jesus start with this message, and why did he start with these people? You think strategically, if you want to start a movement, you go to the leaders, you go to the people in power, and you share a message that's so compelling, that's all about getting people revved up. And this is just so different. The message is, there's so much humility in it. And the people that he picked, it's an odd place to start, and it's an odd message with which to start, which is so indicative of the kingdom. So that's what I love about it. Yeah. I think from the series, I loved so much of it. One of the things I was surprised how much I enjoyed was when John asked us to do the week of prayer together. And just thinking through, lots of people that I know on the screen are doing this all around the country and some around the world, and how to make all different kinds of prayer count. I have a little stretch beaded bracelet in my car that I put over near my steering wheel. I got it at a car wash, and it's almost like a rosary. And I will hold the beads when I'm driving and just hold a bead and think about somebody and pray for them. And I think this series has helped me realize that counts as much as the head bowed, eyes closed kinds of prayers.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you're watching and you went through that week of prayer with us, if you've got a story or an experience, or even just want to share what that was like for you, we'd love to see that in the chat. We'd love to read that. Is there anything, just Nancy, while we're talking about that, is there anything in the Sermon on the Mount or any of these episodes that you really wrestle with or struggle with, or it feels like, how do I accept this as truth or reality?
Absolutely. I think because so much of the Sermon on the Mount really requires inward change, not outward behavioral modification. It's, oh man, I could do this stuff faking it on the outside, but I think the message is, how do I connect with God in a way that I resonate deeply with those values and want to live them out? And what does it mean to be poor in spirit? How do I allow myself to feel that and live in it and connect with God deeply in it, instead of connecting with God in my competency and my success? It's just it's so different than the world's framework. Yeah, so different.
Yeah. I really appreciated, John, the episode at the end, when you talked about the decision, will I do what this man says? Who was that author again that you quoted? If I'm putting you on the spot, but it was like a Scottish pastor or something. I can't remember his name.
George MacDonald.
Yeah, that's it. That was him.
Yeah, George MacDonald. George MacDonald was a Scottish pastor and writer, and he was actually the author that C.S. Lewis was reading when Lewis was converted. Wow. So if anybody's ever read the book by C.S. Lewis, The Great Divorce, he has this character that's kind of guiding him through, the trip to heaven, and that's George MacDonald. So he was a remarkable thinker, but he's amazingly clear, and reading him is often like reading Dallas. There's a lot of real similar themes. But it was just so striking to me how I grew up in a church that I'm super grateful for, but often the question of salvation was just disconnected from the question of obedience. Yeah. And then with obedience, so often we think of it in this real mechanical, legalistic, rule-following way, rather than it actually takes great initiative and creativity and risk. But that basic question, will you obey this, man?
Mm-hmm.
You know, to lay that out for me and then for all of us in this community. That's the question, and that's where the Sermon on the Mount goes.
Yeah. And it's like, I mean, there's not a moment that goes by that we don't have an opportunity, it seems, to make a decision around that, because life happens.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
things, yeah.
So I'm wondering all over the place. This actually gets to the next series coming up, Tim.
Let's do it. Take us there, John.
So the next series is going to be based on a book by Richard Lisher called Our Hearts Are Restless. And he looks at the memoirs of 24 different Christians, spiritual memoirs, people with real different backgrounds. And so we're just going to go through each one of those and think about what makes a life a story.
Mm-hmm.
And how do I understand my story and connect my story with God's story? So part of where this connects to with what you were just saying is Robert McKee is kind of the master of story writing and script writing in our day. He's got a whole book just called Story. And he says, if you're writing a script, every scene, in order for it to be a scene, there has to be a movement in the main character's value structure. That, you know, plot's always about the revelation of character. So there has to be a basic value: courage, truthfulness, love, hate, and the character is moving towards it or away from it. And if there hasn't been a movement in value like that, the scene can't go in the story. Mm-hmm. And part of where that connects is it's like every moment is a possibility to move towards love or to move towards peace. Mm-hmm. And that's the whole idea of seek first the kingdom of God. In every moment, look for that. So it's like even people who are writing about script writing, for crying out loud, are recognizing something very deep. And when we have moments where we think don't count, that's the great danger. I think this moment doesn't count. This is just one more meaningless episode. And to see the drama and the meaning of it, that is what it means to be looking for the kingdom of God in every moment in the Sermon on the Mount. So it's all connected.
Yeah. And in this next series, you'll be walking through some sort of heroes of the faith and their stories. Is that correct? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. So he starts with Augustine, and Augustine's book, Confessions, is thought to be kind of the first work of deeply reflective autobiography in the Western canon. So it will start there, and there will be some people that you would expect, like a Dietrich Bonhoeffer, and then other people like the poet Emily Dickinson that you would not expect. People that are kind of in different spiritual categories, but they're reflecting on their spiritual life. And it's just been a very, very rich learning journey for me. And so I think it'll be really rich for all of us together, and very practical, because the point is, how do you see your life as a story and make it a part of God's story?
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I am sincerely looking forward to that. And so we're actually going to take a 2-week break starting next week, and then we'll be back for that series after that break. Excuse me. Someone just put something in the chat which sparked my memory of a question. It's the it's not that one though. Thank you, Terry. This one. Keith says, I'm using Make Today a Golden Rule Day continually in my meditations, conversations, email sign-offs. And one of the questions that came in is, how has the Golden Rule impacted you two and your marriage? How can you use it in a marriage? Yeah, it might be an obvious question, but just curious about just getting personal with the two of you. I think people would love to hear a little bit about that.
You know, I don't even know until the series if I would have put it in the category of the Golden Rule, but just kind of challenging myself often to think, how does this look to John? How might this feel to John? Because, you know, we're so strong in our own perspective and so convinced that's all of reality. And just the reminder of there's another person here, and they have a whole different story. They have a whole different set of experiences. And just that little question, how might this look to John? I think I find helpful. I probably don't think about it often enough, but when I do, it helps me talk less, listen more, and just consider that my perspective is not the only perspective.
Yeah. For me, the embarrassing part is I'm teaching this stuff. I spent a whole week on it, and how long I can go without thinking about it.
Yeah.
And it really is kind of staggering. And of course, sometimes I don't want to think about it, or I don't want to do it, but a lot of times I just don't remember it. And then when I do, it partly shifts my motivation. So again, this is just stupidly small, but yesterday I went for a run. Nance was gone. We have a young dog, and I was
He's so
thinking,
cute.
you would like it if I took the dog on the run.
Yeah.
Makes the run a little bit more interrupted, but so it's like, well, I can do that. So I did. And then I went to meet yesterday with somebody who loves that dog.
Oh.
And I thought I could bring the dog along or not bringing the dog along. The dog sheds. The dog sheds buckets of hair. The dog is like, that's his spiritual gift, is shedding. So I kind of don't want it in my car because I don't want to. But then I think, okay, is it more about not wanting dog hair shed in my car, or if I was this other person, would I want to see Cooper the dog?
That's good.
So just something like that. It's like, oh, I know this trumps that. So when I think about it, it can make doing a good thing for somebody else actually a little bit more appealing. It's just getting in the habit of it.
So Sunday night or Sunday afternoon, we went to a movie, and on the way in, we were stopping to get something to eat in the movie, but the previews were starting, and I love the previews. I love the previews as much as I love the movies. And the girl behind the counter, the drink that I had ordered, she had to go in the back room to get it, but yet there was some of it left right in front of me. And I said, well, can't you use that? And anyway, it was just an interaction where my priority was me, my agenda, and wanting to get into the movie. And it wasn't rude like an 8 or a 9, but I was not kind. And I kept thinking in my mind, I think just automatically justifying it. She needs this kind of feedback. It'll make this place run better. She needs to tell her manager that the system is not working. And it's like, well, yeah, and you could have been kinder. So I didn't even tell you this. I went back over there and found her and apologized. And, it did not take her long to remember who I was and to say, you know what? I just came thinking only about me, and you've got a tough job, and I'm just really sorry. And I think a lot of it had to do with living in the Sermon on the Mount.
Yeah. It's so funny. I mean, if you're watching and you've got a golden rule story, like you just heard from John and Nancy, you could put that in the chat. We would love to read that. It's funny. We meet with the prayer team every weekday for an hour to pray for people. We pray over everything. We pray over requests that come in. But it's funny because our prayer platform that we used actually had like a major update, and it got all disrupted. And I think it was even an episode where it was when you're talking about the golden rule. And I emailed the workers of this platform. It's a Christian software that we use for the texting, but I just blew this guy up. I was so frustrated because we couldn't get to the prayer request, right? It's like, and then I met to pray. So I sent off that email. Then I met to pray with the team, and I just felt so deeply convicted. I'm like, what? Like, I'm hearing every day about the golden rule. I'm meeting literally to pray, for crying out loud, on the platform, and I'm
blowing people up.
What's the matter with you idiots?
I know. So I had to email him back, and I actually apologized. And we're actually meeting later today, and it ended up being good. But it was so hard to humble myself and do that.
Well, and making yourself apologize inflicts enough pain that it helps you remember next time, maybe don't do that. And then I think the other thing that I've loved about the Sermon on the Mount is this is just simply a lifelong journey.
Yeah.
And I think Christians love to say, oh, I used to struggle with that, but now I learned and I'm okay now. It's like, that's not true. The truth is there's always a deeper layer God is inviting you into in your impatience, unkindness, whatever it might be, lust, jealousy, envy, greed. It's just, my girlfriend and I were talking about somebody recently, and it's a 95-year-old woman still admitting weaknesses in areas where she's still trying to give Jesus lordship in her life. And it's like, I am so compelled by that kind of message.
Yeah. I think I was going to ask, what would you say to encourage people that feel like just miserable failures at the Sermon on the Mount or the teaching? But that's it. That's all of us, right? It's like, this is the good news. That is the good news.
Yeah, he can.
No, and I wrestle with this so much. And when you read people who, I've been reading this little book by Brother Lawrence, Practicing the Presence of God while going through the Sermon on the Mount, and pairing them up is so helpful. And one of his biggest emphases is when I mess up, I remember I don't expect anything better than myself. On my own, that's all I will ever do. So I lift my heart up towards God and then begin again. And that idea of every moment is a new beginning. I need that so much because it's so easy for me to get sucked down. We were talking about this just the other day.
We were.
I had messed something up and it wasn't a terrible violation, but I felt so guilty. Yeah. And you just actually grabbed me by the shoulders, looked me in the eye, basically snap out.
You were spiraling.
I was spiraling. And so this moment is a new moment to be with God. And you actually, it's not doing God any favors to beat yourself up or ruminate over inadequacy or guilt. And so just practicing letting go of that and beginning again with God. And if there's something I need to make right, if I need to go back to the person and apologize, then, by all means do that. Yeah. Yeah.
I just read somewhere recently that lament is a reminder that even our mistakes, we can trust God with them. And I think that's a piece of discipleship that is so missing in the Western culture is our flawed human nature and the mistakes that we make.
You know what? I love that. It's like we'll take financial offerings. Sometimes in certain churches, they will take a praise offering. We should have a mistake offering.
Yeah.
Oh, we should have a mistake offering. Well, okay, God, I'm offering you my mistakes now. I like that.
Yeah.
Let's find a way to do that.
Let's figure that out. Yeah, that would be cool.
We'll talk to the people and sort out.
We have a great tech group.
Paige Carter just said the previews for the best part of the movie.
Hey, so yeah, just want to say thank you, John, and thanks everyone for joining in. We're going to wrap up our time together here, but again, we're going to take a 2-week break. We'll be back on May 27th to launch into a new series. In the meantime, if you want to help us get the word out about Become New, you can subscribe to the YouTube channel. You can like the videos or comment on them. That always actually boosts visibility. But the other thing is next week, we're going to release a book version of Insurmountable. And the whole audiobook, which John, you recorded, I'm just going to brag on you because you're awesome, but you recorded it in 2 sittings and we were together, and it's almost 8 hours long, but it's a book of all these teachings curated. And so that's going to be released on YouTube next week. So you can listen to it and share it with anyone you want. It'll also be in podcast form, and there will be on our website, you'll be able to download the ebook of it. So we're super excited.
I'm very grateful. There was somebody that's part of our community that said he wanted to help make that happen. So that was just super kind, and lots of people who did lots of work. I mean, I know from background how much work it takes to put a book together. This one's really unique. It was just us, and it's not. We're not making any money off of it. It was just a gift of love and wonderful to be able to do.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that. I've listened to it now a few times, and it's wonderful. So
this mistake offering is getting a lot of good feedback. Somebody said it would bankrupt him if he did it. But I love that. Yeah.
Great. Well, anything else, John and Nancy, before we sign off? And we may just hang out here a little bit if you want to interact with the comments, but
No, thanks, Tim. No. Thanks for setting us up.
Yeah. And Jackson too. Thank you.
Thanks everybody for making this community possible. It just means the world. Can't tell you what it means.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, friends, we love you. Enjoy the rest of your Friday and your weekend, and we'll see you back on May 27th for a brand new series.
All right.
All right. Take care.
It's great.
We'll trim the end here, but we can just hang out for a second if you want to.
Sure. No, that's great.
Hey, Angie.
Yeah.
Angie, Jeanette, Paul, Jill.
Hey, Jill, prayers for you.
Holly and Chris, what's up? Hey, guys. Awesome.
And Jazz.
Yeah.
Wow.
Ray Fowler says, what if we don't want this session to end? I guess this is what we do. We just hang out.
Yeah.
Bill Fogey.
Shedding dog.
Yeah.
Man.
Yep. Yeah. Coming to shed near you soon. Oh,
Oh,
Mark Gardner. Hello
John
in
from
Portugal.
Portugal.
Yeah.
Name of book for new series? Jeff Pulling.
Our Hearts Are Restless.
That's
Richard
it.
Lisher.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. Becky
We know-
Heatley. Man,
know-
God bless you.
Yeah.
Paige, you're
Yeah.
still alive.
We know.
We know. We know. We're not saying any bad words at all.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
I think that's a part of what I love about what we're doing. I don't know. It's nice to have it be at least nice enough, but it doesn't have to be perfect.
Yep.
I'm just so over the word excellence.
Yeah.
I'm just over it.
I love the word excellence.
I don't.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just too much.
No, I thought about going outside. I can tell the sun keeps shining
Yeah.
on that little glass table.
Yeah.
So Jackson was probably going nuts because the lighting kept shifting. I didn't
Yeah.
think about that table till now, but I thought, I don't really want to get up and adjust the table in the middle of
Nope.
the episode.
No need
Yeah.
to. It's good. All
Josh
right.
Hall, Josh just sent in a form about you. It's very cool. Good luck, baby.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
All right,
Signing
Timmy.
off.
you guys are awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks, Tim.
Thanks so much. Thanks,
Yep.
Jackson.
Love you. We'll see you next
All
time.
right.
You too. Bye,
Talk to you
guys.
soon. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye.